Well, hello, everybody. My apologies. I told you I work a real job. And, I was late. And all I can do is plead and beg for your forgiveness for being late. So I hope that you will all accept my apologies. Um, how is everyone doing? Jot said this afternoon upload she was coming on tonight, and here I am. So if you can hear me, please put a 1 to make sure that I am online. Hey, Miss Catherine, good to see you. Ohio Stephanie, welcome. Hey, Mystic Firefly, low. Welcome. Sweet Tea, good to see you. Texas Lassie, Is a Girl, Gypsy, June, Tiffany, Skitty Nona. I missed one up here. Moonlight View, there you are. I was looking for you. Let's see. Momming it up. Welcome. Mystic Firefly, I already gotcha. Radmila, welcome. Seymour Doodle. Jules is here. Welcome, Jules. Hannah Bell, love your name. Shelly Tompkins, welcome, my friends. Good to see you. Dirty Scoop and Lisa, welcome. And is that sunshine? No, I got sunshine on my shoulders. The Dirty Scoop is also here. And sipping on, good to see you. M. Speece, you're the winner. Wait, what? Wait, what was number 16? All right, first thing I want to do is, hey, Jackie Blue, welcome. Happy holidays. AK-47, welcome. All right, Carrie, great to see you. So very quickly, if you will, would you look down to the little thumbs up and the little thumbs down? Make a choice now, either up or down. Go ahead and click your choice right now before I get started. And as you are making your choice on whether you're going to give me the thumbs up and tell me I'm number 1, or you're going to give me the thumbs down and break my heart, I will get my, hold on, there we go. I will get my first clip loaded. Oh, Izzy Girl is number 52 today. Welcome, Izzy Girl. Now, you're going to look at this and you're going to go, what the hell has Jules put up on the screen? Does anyone know what this is? Just a little curious. Scotty Too Hottie, do you know what this is? Anybody know? Happy holidays. Spirit Mist. Who knows what this is? Oh, thank you. Happy holidays. Tam here. Thank you. I'm number 1. Good deal. Appreciate you. You are number 1, ma'am. Nobody knows what this is. No, it's not Queen Bee's, but a very good guess, Polly's Cookies. Very good guess. Okay, so let me tell you guys what this is. This is one of the newest show, Harley Rider. Look at this. Harley Rider. You would know. No, I'm kidding. I'm just playing. Okay. All right. So Harley Rider is actually correct. She's right. So what this is one of the newest shows of the Lol Cows shows. And basically this guy, his name is Keemstar, and he's kind of, I guess you could say he's famous, I guess. He does this selection of channels, and they're kind, there's always like this big question of, are they following a script? Is this real or is this scripted, right? Are these people really yelling and fighting, or are they actresses and they're just kind of sort of playing along, right? And I think nobody really knows, actually. I think people kind of think, yeah, it's got to be real, and other people kind of go, nah, I think it's not. I personally don't think it's real. That's only my opinion. There's 10 more of people like me that say, no, it's totally real. But I wanted to show this because it's going to kind of illustrate my point that I'm going to be trying to make tonight about the state of the true crime community. And I want you to take a minute to listen to this, okay? We're just going to sit back and we're just going to listen to this because this dude, Keemstar, who's got like a dozen channels out there, they all follow the same type of formula where it's basically, how should I say this? Excuse my French, okay? But basically, he's figured out how to make money off of just a shit show on parade. I'm serious. Keemstar is sort of like the Jerry Springer of YouTube. Do you think that's accurate, Harley Ryder? Do you think that is that a good way to describe what we're about to watch? It's a bunch of scripts, a kind of cookie cutter. Crystal's opinion, I'm going to totally go with that. I think you're just right straight on. That Keemstar has kind of realized that people on YouTube, they love a train wreck, right? And when there's a channel where there's a lot of fighting and a lot of disagreement, basically the worst that society offers, that people will flock to come watch the shit show on parade, right? It's kind of like the modern day circus, if you will. And so this is one of the newest shows that he's put out. It's only been really going for about a month or so. I, for one, I don't really understand how anybody watches it. It just gives me a headache. It's just a disaster, in my opinion. However, the knuckle draggers, Edward Schwenk, the knuckle dragger, this is what they like, right? This is the train wreck that people will flock to watch. Now, it doesn't mean they behave this way. It doesn't mean the subscribers act like these people act, but they definitely come and watch. And so let me just give you a little taste of Lol Cows Queens, aka the shit show on parade. Yeah, I'm going to give a trigger warning. Cuss words, unbelievable cussing. Like they would make a drunk sailor blush, okay? So prepare yourselves.
Why is it that we get bumped again for these shitty fucking shows that can't even control their own computers? These
Callum
hosts.
with you super chatted $19.71.
Yes,
Leave Tina
Crystal.
alone and let's
Yes.
get on with the show.
Well, since Tina is the show, maybe I shouldn't leave her alone. Right, Tina? Since you're the star, maybe we should just talk about you all night. But first, I wanted to finish my fucking point, which is that we keep getting bumped off for these other shit shows. And why? What is the fucking point?
Failed. They all failed. Keith doesn't see it.
And we have managed, even with that failing, we have clawed our way back up to almost 3,500 viewers right now.
Now, this is really a pretty tame clip. This is not like I didn't intentionally look for the worst. I mean, I'm just going to randomly kind of stop and pick.
Listen to this. Chatted $25.23. I love Keemstar.
Fine. Why don't you all fucking tell me how much you love Keemstar and lick his little asshole over it? He's not even here to hear you. And by the way, Keemstar, I bet under your hat, your head smells like Play-Doh.
Look up underneath your dress. Your fucking twat smells like fuck.
Up. That was way over the top bad. Okay, let me change.
Keith, stop looking out for people.
Xylee wins.
Give me the stream key.
Xylee wins.
You see, I'm just randomly picking places in the video to click.
Now Grace is gone.
This bad.
Okay, well then I'll make it up to you. Don't worry, I got you.
All right.
Well, Super Straight, you did a great job. You were actually able to get a fairly straight answer out of her. That's better than I was able to. But with your disgusting face, it's really not even worth it. It's really
Okay.
not even worth it.
So you get the point, right? And I'm not kidding you. This guy, Keemstar, who came, all of his channels are like this. All of them. They're all just fighting, arguing, telling each other ugly, hateful things. Humiliation is a pretty common practice. And Diamond Paw, you know, it's a successful recipe. This man, Keemstar, no, they do not demonize them, Lolo. No, ma'am. In fact, it's the exact opposite. These people are making wads of cash behaving like this on YouTube. He has figured out that there are thousands of people that will come and watch this mess, screaming and yelling at each other. Jerry Springer galore, Sketty Nona. Yes. The only thing worse than this Keemstar content is like the mukbang stuff. It's the only thing that's worse on YouTube. But the thing about Keemstar is he's figured out how to monetize it. He's figured out how to capitalize on the chaos that is being created on these channels, correct? Now then, we are seeing the same kind of nonsense. Let me go to the next channel. Hold on. We're seeing the same kind of nonsense in the true crime community with some true crime, what they're calling true crime channels. I guess technically they're like trauma channels, right? We're seeing the same kind of behavior. It's just not being monetized. Keemstar has said, hey, I can look at this stuff. I can put this stuff out and make lots of money. But here in the true crime community, we just, do it for free, I guess, right? People just. So this is Demon. It's been absolutely unfair, wild. So many creators furthered the hate this family received. You have a guy. Hold on, let me show you. Just a second. Oh, it may be down. He may have taken it down. No, he didn't. He didn't take it down. He should have taken it down. I think he ought to take it down. Hold on, let me show you. Present. Share screen. We got another channel in the true crime community who is taking a drug test live on his channel. And the reason that he's taking a drug test is because he's having a fight and an argument with another group of people about whether he uses drugs or not. He's having like this brawl with Bullhorn Betty. So that is another example of content that Keemstar
sit there, man.
would love to.
The thing is I've tried so hard, and I finally just broke. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them what they fucking want.
Yeah. So there
I'm gonna give them what they fucking.
Okay. So I'm making my point here, and don't get me wrong. I could sit here and just pull up channels all night long, illustrate, and these are supposed to be true crime or what's now affectionately known as crama. I could just pull stuff up and show it all night long of creators that are just cussing out other creators. Let me give you another one. Hold on. I don't know how many of these I have to show. They're all over the place. They're a dime or dozen. And because it is the the chaos, like Jerry Springer style stuff, because it is that people will flock to watch the hold on. People will flock to watch the sideshow. Just a minute, I'll get it up. Here's one. This one is always delightful. Again, Jerry Springer-esque.
I'm not afraid of you today. I'm not afraid of you then. I'm not gonna be afraid of you in the fucking future. You ain't shit to me.
This
A
supposed
sorry
to be a
sack of shit
channel.
Is all you are. Go ahead.
This another of the Sebastian Rogers channels. Listen to this.
If you know this person, please, get the story out about Mr. Robert Carl.
You know, like the full South, that it seemed that me and Cletus went in there, and just a few days prior, those ribbons weren't there, and there were ribbons there.
Now notice, who do you see on this panel that I've just illustrated? You've got one of them up there who's just cussing up a blue storm, yet left and yet right, threatening people with bodily harm and injury. The other one vanished. This guy's up there doing drug tests online because, I don't know, he's being attacked for using drugs, and, you know, he's trolling them or something like that. And then who's sitting in the middle of the chaos, the circus, the clown show? SF Investigates, in his green clothing, because ever since the green hoodie dude, which is actually a woman, he's come out wearing green hoodies or green clothing. This is supposed to be a serious private investigator. This is supposed to be the private investigator that is the highest paid in the country at $700 an hour. Really? We're doing drug tests online, and we're screaming physical violence against YouTube creators who are not doing anything except talking about the case of missing Sebastian Rogers. This man is the circus master. And the only thing different between SF Investigates and Keemstar is that Keemstar's smart enough to monetize the chaos. He's smart enough to get money off of Ring 1. We have Lol Cows Live, and Scream 2, we have, I don't know, Lol Cows Milkers. And in Ring 3, we have Lol Cows Rewind. And he's just raking in money from the chaos. But SF Investigates, well, that tip jar is empty, SF. What are you doing, SF, surrounding yourself with clowns and chaos, I ask you? What's the point in what this man is trying to accomplish? Like, what exactly do you think he's doing? Does he have a goal? Does he have a reason for conducting his three-ring circus? Well, let's take a listen to Lore Lodge, a man who really doesn't typically do true crime. He does more like exposés or documentaries, and he has done some work with like the John Benet Ramsey case and a few others. But getting down in the gutter and screeching and screaming at other true crime creators, it's not exactly this guy's style. You know, he's more of, you know, like an academic type. We're looking at nearly 1 million. So I think he's got 600,000. Well, it won't come up right now. He's got a, oops, what did I do here? He's got a really successful channel. He's a good researcher. He goes on location, you know, conducts himself with dignity. All right. So let's take a listen and see, because I've been watching SF Investigates. You guys know that. And I'm really disturbed by the games that he is playing, but I don't know what the motivation is. I don't know what exactly SF is getting out of his 3-ring circus. You know how they had the Barnum and Bailey Big Top? Remember that? Well, now we got the Proudfoot Fisher 3-ring circus, the greatest show on earth, the best clowns of all. So what is he really doing? Because he's not making money with this. He's not smart like Keemstar. Let's see what Lore Lodge thinks.
Post a 3-hour-long, heavily researched, fact-based documentary. And I've got people on Twitter coming at me saying, you know, oh, you're biased. You work for Seth Rogers. I've never taken a dime from Seth Rogers. Not even in a super chat. Something's not right about the way this is being handled, and it's becoming very clear. And I think that at this point, it can almost be defined as a strategy.
Oh, you know what? This looks like a strategy, Lore Lodge, because I would absolutely 100% agree.
I mean, Chris Proudfoot successfully turned this case into
say it,
a true crime YouTuber drama instead of an investigation into where his stepson is.
But I'm going to go one step further. I think Lore Lodge is being dignified and polite, right? I'm going to go one step further, because I'm not going to be dignified and polite. I'm just going to be a straight shooter and tell it like I see it, right? Christopher Proudfoot entered this YouTube stage screeching and screaming, offending anyone that had the poor judgment to be up on a panel with him as early as 8 days after Sebastian went missing. 8 days. That's all it took for Christopher Proudfoot to join the YouTube true crime community and to begin to insult us all. All of us. We've all been insulted to Kingdom coming back. I was actually approached and was ordered that I was not going to make any videos using Sebastian Rogers' name. You will not make videos using Sebastian Rogers' name. So that was the very moment that I said, hey, hold my beer, and said, I'll make as many damn videos about Sebastian Rogers as I want to, Buster. So this already, before we knew who this guy was, before we really understood how he operated, he was going around ordering creators to abandon coverage of this story about Sebastian, which is incredibly curious, isn't it? That if you've got a missing kid, the goal is to get everyone talking about your child so that it's fresh on everybody's mind. And if you run across someone who looks like him, you will tell the police, and you've got eyeballs in every state of the union, in every country in the world. You'll have people looking for Sebastian, as opposed to just Sumner County Sheriff's Office looking for Sebastian. Now, I think it's become quite clear that I think Christopher Proudfoot wanted only Sumner County Sheriff's Department looking for Sebastian. Christopher Proudfoot never wanted the world looking for Sebastian. Christopher Proudfoot never, ever wanted the pieces of evidence in this case for well-meaning good people to be going over this with a fine-tooth comb, looking for contradictions, lies, missteps of him. Like, my truck, those cops are so dumb, they didn't even know that was my truck that got caught in the geofencing web. What? Excuse me? Why? How is that possible that your truck got stuck in the geofencing web? They would have only been able to get a warrant for a time when the judge is convinced that there was a potential crime happening, which the only time they have is 3:15 in the morning. So, Christopher, why was your truck home at 3:15 a.m.? You had not been home since February the 2nd, even though you were only 3.5 hours away. But for some reason, one of your little friends seems to think that you have an apartment in Hendersonville. So what was that about? So I don't think Christopher Proudfoot wanted Nina to come out publicly and tell the story of a man with blood in his veins that is as cold as my mama's Southern iced tea. I don't think he ever anticipated that Nina would find her courage, that Nina would find her voice and be able to come forward and tell the tale of Christopher. 1 minute, I'm coughing again. Sorry about that. Tell the tale of a man and his mother stealing an infant baby girl from a biological mother that loved her, and from the biological grandparents that adored them. Do you know that this shocking? When I had this realization, all I could do was just sit there and shake my head. I could not believe what I was seeing. Do you guys know that not only did he in a calculating way, I mean, really, this guy is insidious. In a very calculated way, he moved his wife Nina and this newborn baby to his home in Hendersonville when he already knew that he was getting a divorce. He already knew that he was going to be getting divorced. You see, he was calculating taking the baby. Now, one of the things that makes this such a nightmare, makes this such a horrific monster move, is that he tried to pressure Nina into having an abortion. Nina's own words, she told the story. He tried to pressure her to have an abortion. And she said, absolutely not. That is never happening. I am not going to do that. No way. And she told her parents, her parents stood by her, and her parents said, absolutely no way. There'll be no abortion. We will love that baby. We will help you take care of that baby. There's no need for an abortion with this family. Right? So the baby's born. He's not even there when the baby's born. He shows up at the hospital and literally, I mean, you can't make this up. People, you guys that are on the Proudfoot shit shows, SF Investigates fan club, you guys are being so foolish. You are not looking logically at the facts. Here's some facts for you. He tries to force Nina to abort the baby. Nina and her parents say, absolutely not. There'll be no abortion. She has the baby alone with her mom and dad there. He shows up the day after the baby's born. He goes in there, making his grand announcement, I'm the father, I'm the father. And then he proceeds to get his behind kicked out of the hospital because he's such a misogynistic asshole, yelling at his wife who's just had his child. The nurses and the doctor came in and said, you don't need to be in here around her. You are hurting her. You are screaming at a woman who just had your baby. She needs peace. And the baby needs peace because the baby needs to start nursing. So what are you doing? So this kind of guy that we're talking about here, y'all, he tried to force her to abortion. He tried to force her to abortion. She and her parents said no. She had the baby alone. And then he shows up and says, I'm going to be an asshole. And then the nurses nearly kicked him out of the hospital. After like 3 or 4 warnings, he's in the hospital screaming at Nina. The other patients can hear this. This is a maternity wing. They can hear this jackass yelling. And finally, the doctor came in there and said, you got to get out of here. You're done. You hit the road, buddy. You're done. Get out. So multiple nurses, and then finally a doctor that pulled the power card. And he was escorted out by security. That's exactly right. And so, like any young woman who has a new baby, they're feeling in a weakened place, right? They feel like they could succumb to threat. They want to be with the father of the child. They want a man that they feel protected. And so when Chris says, let's move to Hendersonville where I can get a job and work and we'll raise the baby, she went with, a girlhood dream in her mind about this romantic marriage. But that is not the plans that Christopher Proudfoot had. He was being very calculating. Just a minute, about to cough. He was being very calculating, and his mother wanted the baby. Yeah. Thank old paternal granny Kathy, who seems to get whatever she wants because she makes big political contributions in town. So she sees a little girl and she says, oh my God, she's a beautiful baby. You can't let the baby go back to Arizona with Nina. We are going to keep the baby and raise the baby as a Proudfoot. So this son of a bitch gets an attorney and the local judge, and they are successful in stealing her infant. Yeah, Cluemenati. That's what you're supporting. That's what you are attacking innocent, good people for. Stephen Crabtree, what the hell's wrong with you? What would you take your newborn baby from your wife? Would you be that kind of man? So Nina fights like hell, gets an attorney. The attorney is just like blown away by the whole story. He can't believe it, but he's also kind of like, I don't know if we can be successful fighting this, because this seems like somehow these people have some connection to local government, because really this judge should have never given this child to this man, never. And yet they did, because that is Proudfoot territory. Yeah. So they fight it out, back and forth, gets really nasty, really dirty, really ugly. Finally, the judge, I don't know if maybe it was a different judge. I'm not sure how it came to pass, but finally the judge is sort of figuring out this is not going to work. And so he says, okay, you need to give her back her baby. Right? So judge figures out you need to give her back her baby. Well, they were going to make the handoff at the sheriff's department. And so she goes up to the sheriff's department to get her infant. We're talking about a breastfeeding infant. This is craziness. Yeah, 6-week-old baby. 6-week-old baby, nursing baby. So they go up there to the sheriff's department to do the handoff. The entire family shows up. Christopher Proudfoot, his mom and dad, the sister, the whole damn clan of backwoods assholes wearing Ralph Lauren shirts, pretending to be something special. They all show up and they begin threatening this woman. As she's already got her 2 elementary school age kids in the truck with her. She's trying to put the baby in her truck. Her dad is across the street over like at the Walmart parking lot waiting. And she's trying to do what the judge says, give her back her baby. And do you know what Christopher Proudfoot's sister said? This is not just Chris is an asshole. This is like a family culture that they got going on. They're all controlling, abusive assholes based on their behavior. His sister says, as she's standing there and has the doors open on the truck, his sister says, Chris, you should back up and run over her. You can't make it up. It just defies explanation. So that is who Sheriff Craddock with Sumner County Sheriff's Department, that is who Sheriff Craddock, Bobbie, that's their little friend. A man who would demand an abortion, and then when the wife refuses an abortion, he steals the baby, kidnaps the baby, and then when he's ordered to give the 6-week-old nursing infant back to the mother and grandparents that want the baby, the sister of the dude says, run over her. Oh, in the bushes. Excellent point. As they are being abusive to Nina, as she is trying to get her infant back, as her 2 elementary school children are witnessing these monsters, they are literally live streaming it on Facebook, I suppose, so all of the Sumner County can watch it. Why, Christopher Proudfoot? Are you like the mafiosa of Sumner County? Maybe you're the cornbread mafia dude. Are you the guy that's running the mafiosa in Sumner County? Do you know anything about what happened to Summer Wells? Just asking. What kind of person would it even occur to you to say, hey, the judge is going to give the baby back to the biological mother. Let's stream it live for everyone in the neighborhood to watch, and watch me abuse her. Watch my sister yell, telling me to back up and run over her as her 2 elementary school children are sitting in the truck crying, watching this shit show. This defies logic. I always want to go back to motivation. And all I can think is, what the hell is the judge thinking? What the hell is the sheriff's department doing? What were the deputies doing while the Proud Feet were out in the parking lot, literally terrorizing Nina, the baby, and the 2 elementary school children? What were they thinking? This woman was so terrified, she literally ran up to the sheriff's department, the building itself, to try to get some help. And yet there you got Cluemenati and Cletus. You got Stephen Crabtree. They're all standing there doing SF's bidding. You got Granny's Watching. Granny's Watching is firmly in the pocket of SF Investigates. And SF Investigates has told us Christopher Proudfoot is paying him $700 an hour to create the same identical type of shit show, just do it online. It's intentional, y'all. It's contrived. Proudfoot is, in fact, confusing the facts of the case. They have now drug in this innocent housewife who lives 1 street over, who does not know Katy and Chris. She doesn't know anything about them. The only thing she knows about them is their 15-year-old kids seem to defy biology, and he disappeared. Literally. That's all she knows. She does a newsletter for the neighborhood, current events, not gossiping, organizing current events. So why in the hell have they decided, SF Investigates, how is it that he has decided that Bobbie is a mafia lady? That Bobbie and her 2 teenage sons, that they're actually the ones responsible for Sebastian's disappearance. And Granny's Watching, you foolish person. You literally sit up on your channel or on Queen Bee's panel. You literally say, oh, well, Sebastian probably heard about a game of flashlight tag, and he took his flashlight with him, and he went out and he played flashlight tag with the twins, and they killed him. It's blame it on Bobbie and her 2 twins. Granny's Watching. You're repeating that nonsense. Have you given any thought at all to what you're going to do after this case? When SF Investigates no longer needs any more village idiots to do his bidding, when SF Investigates has taken his last paycheck from Christopher Proudfoot, what are you guys going to do? You've completely soiled your reputation in terms of facts, evidence, logic. You've just tumbled over into the pile of BS that SF Investigates has intentionally spun. You don't believe me, Granny's Watching? How about this? This man, SF Investigates, literally said, I have all of the video footage from Riley Strain going missing. I can see him walking. I know where he was. I saw everything. I saw Riley go over and into the water. SF Investigate said that 3 nights ago on a YouTube channel. Granny's watching. Have you stopped to ask yourself if anyone saw Riley Strain go into the water? Because if they did see Riley go in the water, then why did it take so long to find him? No one saw that because there were no cameras in that area. Granny's watching. So my question to you is, why are you drawn to follow SF Investigates blindly? Especially when you know that SF Investigates is taking $700 an hour from Christopher Proudfoot. Not to find Sebastian. SF Investigates has not been looking for Sebastian. That is not why he's there. SF Investigator is a fixer. His job is to muddy the water. His job is psychological warfare. He is simply here in this situation with Sebastian to make it difficult for the real law enforcement to find the facts. So he is interjecting all these different incorrect facts and information. He's interjecting all of these alternative explanations that have nothing to do with reality at all. None. He's doing that intentionally. It's on purpose, is what I'm telling you. In order to undermine an investigation, to make it more difficult to get a prosecution. Ohio Stephanie heard SF Investigates claim that he has the video where you can see Riley Strain going over the wall and into the water. But that video doesn't exist. It's not real. He's a liar. He's a liar. It's herd mentality, and that's the niche that they have found. Law enforcement knows what they know. SF isn't going to change their minds. He can make things really difficult, Lisa, by adding in information that's not credible or real, like Green Hoodie Dude. Green Hoodie Dude. Oh, Katie told me it's an old guy. Unfortunately, it turned out it's a woman. And if we had not had at night, if we had not had them on the case where they have like the whole video, we never would have known that it was a woman. And I think that's the reason that SF Investigates and Katy went flying up to Texas Roadhouse, raising hell, screaming and yelling, "Why did you give this away? Why did you give this to people? You weren't supposed to give the video to anyone." I think that is why they were so angry. Because he told a lie with great confidence that we would not know he was lying. Oh, that was an old man. He couldn't have done anything. Yada, yada, yada. At night says, well, actually, no, it wasn't. It's a woman. And she does, in fact, look an awful lot like Katie's biological relatives. And that pissed SF off. I actually did invoke the Cornbread Mafia. Cornbread Mafia is a real thing. It's not just something cute that was invented on YouTube. Cornbread Mafia is they've been around for a while. I did a video on the Cornbread Mafia. Well, I don't know how long ago it was now, but basically, Cornbread Mafia, they started like in the late 80s. Well, through the 80s, I think prosecution of Cornbread Mafia began like in the early 90s. They came out of Kentucky. These men basically created the largest marijuana production operation in the history of the United States of America. There were 3 counties in Kentucky where they were growing all this marijuana. It was federal prosecutors who first used that term, Cornbread Mafia, after they had arrested 70 men. And those 70 men were arrested, the growing of marijuana, and then the transportation and trafficking of that marijuana stretched across 30 farms over 10 states, going from the Southeast all the way up to the Midwest. This was such a well-known organization or widespread story that there were books that were written. There was a book called Cornbread Mafia, A Homegrown Syndicate's Code of Silence and the Biggest Marijuana Bust in American History. That came out in 2012, written by James Hingden. And then there was another one, The Origins of the Cornbread Mafia, a memoir of sorts. That came out in 2016. And then there was Cornbread Mafia, The Outlaws of Central Kentucky. That book was published in 2018 by Joe Keith Bickett. That one was actually a firsthand account of Cornbread Mafia and how they operated in Kentucky in the late 70s. So he wrote these books while he was incarcerated, but he was not able to publish the books until after he had gotten out of federal prison, which was in 2011. So again, the prosecutors, they're the ones who originally coined that term, Cornbread Mafia. The original founding members of Cornbread Mafia was Joe Keith Bickett, the guy that wrote the 2 books. Joe Keith Bickett, Jimmy Bickett, Ray or Jimmy Downs, and Garland Russell. There was a Vietnam War veteran, Bobbie Joe Shoemaker. There was also some Boons that were involved in this large operation. And so the group in the beginning, they were operating out of a little place, Squire's Tavern, in a place called Raywick, Central Kentucky. And then ultimately, in a decade, it spread to, like I said, 30 towns, 30 counties across, I don't know, like 8 different states. And it was enormous. The allegations between 1985 and 1989, that was only 4 years, 70 Kentucky men were accused of growing 182 tons of marijuana on 30 farms in 10 states. Federal prosecutors charged this and described it as the largest domestic producing operation in the nation. And by the end of 1991, prosecutors had arrested more than 100 additional members of the Cornbread Mafia, and most of those were in Lebanon, Kentucky. So, they ended up getting, I don't know, decades in prison sentences, the collective group. The most notable member of the Cornbread Mafia was a Boone, like think Daniel Boone. He was arrested in 1987. He was the ringleader of the big marijuana operation that was in Minnesota, and he served 15 years for his part. In 2008, police discovered Boone growing 2,400 marijuana seedlings on his farm just outside of Springfield, Kentucky, in Washington County. He was not arrested at that time. However, under threat of life, he was threatened with life without parole. And so, he kind of turned himself in under the 3 strikes law. And so he ran away. He was actually featured on America's Most Wanted because he was like on the run trying to evade this terrible sentence. He was running and hiding. He was on the lam for 8 years, and he was finally arrested December 22nd, 2016. He was arrested actually in Canada, just outside of Montreal. He was tracked by U.S. Marshals, and then he was extradited to the United States, April 2017. Boone pled guilty to 1 count of superseding information. Boone was represented by like 5 attorneys, and then contrary to the life sentences that he was facing, Boone was sentenced to 57 months, like a little over 4 years, like 4.5 years. And so the same judge who sentenced the Bickett brothers to a couple of years in 1990. So it seems to me that the judge in the town had bloodstains on his hand too. I mean, maybe this is the way they do this in the dirty South. You know what I mean? Maybe if you're going to be a mafia dude, Christopher Proudfoot, if you're going to engage in nefarious activities in the old South, maybe you got to pay the judge off. And then when you pay the judge off, then you don't have to worry about things like if you get arrested, maybe you end up with a terrible, sentence, right? So the cornbread mafia, the dudes, largest growing and trafficking operation in the history of the United States of America, 170 people involved and arrested, and the head dudes get 6 years and then 4.5 years. Sounds like a dirty judge to me. And I am deeply concerned about Sumner County Sheriff's Department lack of investigation and attention to detail in the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. And I am very disturbed about the local judge that would take a nursing infant from a lactating mother just to award to the middle-aged mother of one Christopher Proudfoot. I'm disgusted by this county, and I am deeply concerned about what may have come of Sebastian Rogers.
Damn, hurry up. We ain't got all day. I think I found it. Did you hear that?
Corner store smells like Pall Malls. The cashier wears the same overalls. The cops washed the blood off their hands with the moonshine they took from the moonlight. Dirty South. Cars burn into the dark sky. No leads, nobody knows why. Dead bodies in the trees where I get my sun. to the small trails, headstones from the 1800s. Ghosts lurk till you feel the chill in your spine. In these pines, dirty South, dirty South, dirty South, you have raised me. Dirty South, Dixie made me. Dirty South, I love you, but sometimes you hate me. Times you hate me. Dirty South. Dirty South. Whoa, 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 whoa. Dirty South, dirty South, dirty South.
All right. One last thing. This song, this video was actually recorded in Tennessee. These are the Tennessee woods from which this whole drama played through. So, Upchurch, he writes all of his songs. This is his story. And, maybe there's a culture there in Tennessee that you and I are not really aware of. But I know one thing. Any judge who's willing to take a 6-week-old infant baby away from a lactating mother just to give it to a middle-aged grandma when there's literally nothing wrong with the mother, what in the hell is happening in that county? And if that man, if his mommy is powerful enough to get a judge to steal, legally kidnap a little infant, what is SF investigating? What's he doing for Christopher Proudfoot? Christopher Proudfoot's paying him $15,000 by SF's own admission. Why? They're not looking for Sebastian. They are interjecting chaos. Now, where do we stand with SF Investigates? He says Bobbie and her children are suspicious. He, SF, has put the kids under surveillance. And then he does a video beside Bobbie's house, looking out over the construction area, where he goes on to inform us that Sebastian could have been out there on the construction site hiding when a dump truck dumped a load of construction dirt on top of Sebastian. Basically, you guys, SF Investigates went online and just told the entire YouTube community that Sebastian is buried in the retention pond. And if that doesn't make your blood run cold, nothing will. This case needs the FBI. This case needs an investigation by the state of Tennessee over what in the hell is going on in Sumner County with the district attorney, with law enforcement, with the judges there. There is something critically wrong happening there. For one thing, why isn't that man terrified to voice this? What would make this man feel confident that he can go on a YouTube channel and say, I think Sebastian laid down over there in the construction site and allowed a truck to dump dirt on him and bury him. What would make a man do that with no fear? And here's my last point. This man claims to be a private detective. This man claims to be working to find missing people. Is this a good idea for a supposed private investigator to be trying to actually be a YouTube content creator? Does anybody see anything wrong with this? Are we about to go completely off the rails here? I am very frightened of this story where he first says Bobbie is a problem. Then he says Bobbie's kids are a problem. Bobbie's kids are playing flashlight tag. Bobbie's kids are down at the retention pond. Bobbie's kids are riding around on a four-wheel or a razor out in the woods. And then he finishes this story with Sebastian is out there where Bobbie's kids are, buried under construction dirt. He's just told a story to prosecute Bobbie's kids. Let that sink in. It's not going to be the mother who's the last one seeing this kid that telling lies, stories that change all the time. No. She's not the one that should be under suspicion. It should be some rando housewife that lives one street over who's vocally saying she's never known the Proudfoots before, who's already president of the little neighborhood group. So she went ahead and said, let me get information out to the neighborhood. I've got the infrastructure in place to do that. No, this idiot, SF Investigates, he says because she put the information out to the neighborhood, because she was involved in trying to help with neighborhood contacts during the search, that makes her suspicious that she's trying to cover up her crimes or the crimes of her children. Cluemenati. I hope you know what you're getting into, because you have aligned yourself with this joker. You guys got a problem coming. You guys all have a problem coming, barreling down toward your asses like a freight train. If they go over there and they find that boy buried in the retention pond, you guys are going to be in deep. And I think Stephen Crabtree knows that. I think Stephen Crabtree is smarter than the whole lot of you guys. Yeah, Bobbie's kids on the grassy knoll, right? Moonlight View. So ridiculous. Yes, Tina girl. Yeah, J for Justice is doing exactly the same thing that Granny's Watching is doing exactly the same thing that Cluemenati and Cletus are doing. Exactly. They have aligned themselves with SF Investigates. SF Investigates is telling them what the talking points are, and then they're spreading out across YouTube to spread the message of confusion for Christopher Proudfoot. A man who said, get an abortion, I don't want a baby. And then when the baby was born, he got his attorneys in gear and legally kidnapped that child from a lactating mother for his mommy, because Kathy Proudfoot said, well, I want a baby. I think she turned out super cute and I would like to raise her. It's a bunch of monsters. It's monsters. It's monstrous. Yeah, they're the ones with the packets. Exactly, Tina. Absolutely. So YouTube creators, things are off the rails here. things have gone nuts. Enough is enough. This is dangerous game that you guys are playing with the SF Investigates and Christopher Proudfoot. These are dangerous people. That's my opinion. And in the meantime, there's a 15-year-old kid that's missing, and your boy Steve-O told us that he's buried over in the construction site. So you better be doing some praying that he isn't found over there buried. All right, you guys, I'm finished. This is my video. And oh, my song didn't go out right. I thought it was going out here. All right. I will be back. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and see you later.
Neck of the woods, my neck of the woods. My neck of the woods, my neck of the woods, my end of the road. That football field that we practiced on. Had that parking lot hopping on a Friday night at Sonic till the neon lights were down and a field party started. In my neck of the woods.
I hope thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'd love to hear any comments that you have underneath the video.